We're delving deeply into AMC today and the intense pressure that is still being applied behind the scenes to short sellers. We will discuss the increasing perception among AMC investors that short sellers are discreetly attempting to close positions. Why do so many people think that AMC's largest move may still be in the works? And why do so many monkeys think that the official short interest figures still don't reflect reality? Because one thing that hasn't changed in spite of all the volatility, media anxiety, accusations of manipulation, and ongoing price suppression is a conviction of retail investors who have stuck with AMC despite everything that has transpired over the past few years. One of the main points being made at the moment, according to remarks made by numerous AMC investors on the internet, is that the actual short interest on AMC is far higher than the figures that are displayed to the public. The Roaring Rockets tweeted that while many individual investors continue to believe that synthetic shares and concealed positions increase the actual exposure, reasonable estimates still place AMC's short interest above 300%. Additionally, this relates to a topic that AMC investors have been discussing for years. Although official statistics may indicate a considerably lower short percentage, many apes think those figures only reflect a small portion of the pressure AMC is under in the background. According to estimates from earlier talks, AMC's short exposure might have been as high as 1.7 billion shares, which would be many times the official float. Even still, a number of investors contended that their computations continue to overlook items like tokenized shares, synthetic shares, delivery failures, and other market dynamics that many believe have artificially boosted the quantity of AMC shares in circulation, because they think the actual short pressure is far higher than what is published to the public. Many investors continue to claim that the official data cannot be fully believed. Now, the belief that retail ownership is still quite strong is one of the key reasons AMC investors keep holding. According to a post that Mr. Rick shared, the ownership figures that are now available indicate that institutions control about 38%, insiders about 2%, and ordinary investors almost 59%. However, a lot of individuals still doubt these figures because retail ownership was projected to be much greater in prior years, often in the range of 80% or more. Even though institutions have undoubtedly amassed shares over time, many retail investors continue to hold the belief that the majority of authentic AMC shares acquired during the initial 2021 rally are still held by retail holders. And when talking about the concept of synthetic shares, that becomes crucial. Many investors think that if the float has been enlarged several times over through synthetic creation or naked shorting, institutions that currently own a higher percentage may only be reflecting the increased artificial float rather than true ownership taking the place of retail holders. For this reason, despite the shifting ownership figures being made public, some maintain that AMC is still essentially under retail control. Many similarities between AMC and GameStop during the initial meme stock explosion are currently being made once more. Investors note that prior to GameStop's 2021 explosion to enormous heights, the publicly disclosed short interest figures likewise seemed far lower than what many traders subsequently thought was truly taking place behind the scenes. For this reason, investors in AMC continue to contend that reported short interest by itself does not provide a whole picture. Nowadays, a lot of people think that history might repeat itself if persistent retail conviction collides with sufficient buying pressure. However, what some institutions themselves seem to be doing is becoming very intriguing to AMC investors. Citi recently reduced its price target on AMC, while keeping a sell rating, claiming the company still trades above what analysts believe to be fair value, according to a post posted by Dave Murphy. Reports, however, suggested that Citi closed down its put position concurrently, and this prompted investors in AMC to wonder why institutions would stop negative positions rather than continue to profit from a movement if they really thought AMC was going to drop sharply. One of the main topics of discussion within the AMC community is that inconsistency. Retail investors think that companies who outwardly promote pessimism while secretly lowering short exposure may be expressing worries about potential future upside risk. Many apes now think that short sellers are in a challenging situation where the costs and risks of being short are increasing over time due to the pressure that ordinary investors continue to apply by holding shares. In contrast to the challenging pandemic years, many AMC investors also think the company's fundamentals have significantly improved. PIP, and Sammy claimed that AMC's adversaries no longer have as much power as they formerly did. Studios are fiercely vying for IMAX releases. Movie production is picking up speed once more, and the cinema industry as a whole seems to be in much better shape than it was a few years ago. As indicators that AMC is continuing to stabilize its finances, investors point to partnerships, growing revenue streams, higher attendance figures, and debt restructuring initiatives. And this is when a lot of ordinary investors think the short argument starts to fall apart, because AMC's business has continued to improve, even though the stock price may still be subject to significant volatility and suppression. The business has improved operational performance in a number of areas, developed new revenue streams, increased collaborations, and worked on debt reduction. Many individuals claim that this is the reason why some institutions are currently attempting to discreetly lower exposure before the circumstances worsen for short sellers. The potency of retail conviction itself is another important aspect that investors are still debating. Investors in AMC frequently stress that despite ongoing volatility and fear campaigns, a large percentage of retail holders just refuse to sell, which is why this movement has endured for years. Many monkeys think that short sellers are kept in these positions by the collective holding pressure. Stefan Vikstrom claims that while AMC's all-time highs might still be in the future, it will mostly depend on the investor's ability to withstand pressure and uncertainty as a group. The discrepancy between AMC's increasing fundamentals and its stock price performance is another issue that investors frequently bring up. Cooked Files claims that despite AMC's ongoing announcements of new revenue streams, debt reduction initiatives, and operational enhancements, the company's stock price continues to lag behind rivals like Cinemark. Many investors contend that since AMC is still the biggest theater chain in the business, it should naturally profit if the box office performance and movie theater sector as a whole are increasing for everyone. Because of this, a lot of individuals think that AMC's exceptionally high retail ownership base is solely responsible for its pricing suppression. Investors contend that while AMC is still under more pressure because of the continuous conflict between short sellers and retail investors, institutional-heavy businesses typically move more naturally with improved fundamentals. Additionally, investors continue to discover additional reasons for optimism when they examine the current box office figures. According to reports, the year has gotten off to a very strong start at the domestic box office, with revenues surpassing those of numerous previous years. In the past, the second half of the year, from June to December, has typically brought in about 2/3 of the yearly domestic box office revenue. In other words, while AMC had previously done rather well in the first half of the year, many investors now think that Q3 and Q4 could be even more significant for the company's finances. The expansion of AMC's A-list subscriptions is another significant event that investors are talking about. According to reports, AMC surpassed 1 million A-list members in the first quarter of 2026. Many investors believe that this may bring in hundreds of millions of dollars a year in recurring revenue, with average monthly pricing close to $28. And because recurrent subscription income fosters long-term financial stability, this becomes crucial. Many apes now think that AMC might drastically accelerate debt repayment over the next years if it can continue to considerably increase A-list membership. This relates to AMC's recent improvements to its balance sheet as well. The business has eliminated higher interest commitments while continuing to restructure and refinance debt. While some investors oppose the issuance of shares, many AMC supporters contend that cutting costly debt eventually improves the company's long-term performance. Many apes believe that eliminating high-interest debt commitments offers AMC far more flexibility going ahead and raises the likelihood of future rises in profitability.